guys. I hope you're doing well today. I am trying a new thing with my camera here, so we shall see if this works. I actually have it hooked over my shoulder and kind of by the side of my head because this new camera videos a lot more up close. Well, not a lot, but just enough. And so if I'm trying to video something where I'm at arm's length where I'm trying to show you, I literally have to have it right in my face and I can't see around it to flip or do anything. So I'm trying it on the side here, but that means I can't really see in the screen too well without specifically looking. So if this gets outside of the screen, I'm really sorry. I will do my best to keep it in. Alrighty, so finally we have a little peek at the Mesemb Study Group bulletins, just for any of you that are curious. These are just the ones from 2017. I went ahead and got quite a few of the back orders just because I wanted them, and so I've got piles here beside me, as you can see, just piles of them. But I just got them when we came home from our little mini trip. They were waiting for me in the mail, and I've been really excited because I joined, I want to say October or November of 2017, and the bulletin that was supposed to come out shortly after that got lost in the mail and never showed up, and so they resent it along with the other ones that I ordered later. I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna order all the ones I wanted and get kind of a broader view of them, I guess. Saying they're the ones I wanted isn't exactly right because I didn't know what was in each of them. But I knew I would like to have some back issues to just read and geek out over. So I'll just show you guys what these look like, kind of, so you know what to expect. They do send you a list if you order a whole year or back articles. I'm not sure what to call these. Back issues? Yeah, I guess. They send you this little bulletin, which is just an index. So it's arranged and you can A to Z, and you can see where each of these items are talked about in these bulletins. So this is for 2014 to 2015, and it gives some of the article descriptions, and then you can also look up specific plant names and get the issue. Yeah, sorry, I'm just working this out in my head here, but you can see the issue where they mention this for these 2 years, and the page if you would like to have some way to kind of organize them a little more. I highly doubt I will ever use these. I will probably just highlight and pin things if I'm wanting. So anyways, let's get on here. These just came yesterday, so I haven't had a ton of time to look over them, but I did spend a couple hours flipping through them last night with my husband giggling beside me. I got up and did something and came back into bed because we were laying in bed, and I was flipping through these, and he's not feeling well. He got some kind of a flu bug, so we were watching a TV show and I was flipping through these, and when I got up and left, when I came back, he said, "Well, I read through all of your bulletins and I approve." And of course there's no way in 2 minutes he read through all of the huge stack of bulletins I got, but he was giving me a hard time about me geeking out. Not really a hard time, just teasing me. Anyways, usually they seem to start out with some kind of an editorial where it's just them kind of giving an update on what has happened in that quarter. These come out quarterly, and so just kind of a update on people that they know. Obviously, I don't know a lot of these people, but they're people who frequently write or are suppliers for seeds, etc., etc. So there'll just be some little mentions, like, for example, here's a paragraph here. Terry has got together another good seed list with no honorary Mesembs this time. Some prices may have increased a little, but that is to be expected. Please think about harvesting carefully pollinated seeds from your own plants for donation to MSG or perhaps the plant exchange scheme list later in the year. And so this is just kind of little updates like that, giving you information on what's happened, etc. Then we have various articles which they change. There we go. Sorry, it keeps going down. They change obviously from issue to issue. I haven't got a really good feel, but because I haven't specifically asked, but from what I understand and have seen now looking through these, that people just write and submit articles. They're not really commissioned. It's not like they're saying, hey, we want this topic and this topic and this topic in this next bulletin. It's more just whatever people have been reading, researching, etc. If they've written, they can submit an article. I don't know how they go about choosing, who gets in, or if they just publish everyone. I have no idea, but it's kind of a fun thing. People can just write about what they're interested in right then, and what they're doing. And so because of that, it's a bit more in a story format a lot of times, the articles. These bulletins are not a real practical source for growing and cultivation for most growers, for sure. They do have color photographs, as you can see, on various things, whoever's been out and about. Some of them are domestic, but most of them seem to be wild, taken in the wild, which is awesome. So whoever's been traveling and whatever they found, they put photos in, which is fun. Sometimes they go along with the articles. Usually they go along with the articles, and they'll have a little descriptions. Like you can see here, it's talking about a certain photo. But well, I shouldn't say but, and the articles seem to be a lot more anecdotal. And, we were going here and we did this and we had a flat tire and then we saw these guys and then we traveled for 8 hours and then the roads were really bumpy and then we found these little guys nestled in this little place and this is what the arid environment looked like and this is what other plants were around it, or things like that, which can be really, really interesting if you are wanting to learn about their habitat a bit more. Then as we go on, these are just, more articles from people that were writing. Then they tend to have some news things. It really changes from issue to issue, so I may not have, so they have just a little bit about their expenses and, and stuff like that for the group if people want to know those kind of facts. Then they have some recommended books sometimes, or books for sale. They have ads. Okay, here we go. Yep. So like this, you can pay to put ads in for different people, and that can be fun. It can introduce you to a few new growers or sources for books or various things, which is cool. And I guess if you were interested in advertising, you could do that as well. So yeah, I'm just going to read just a tiny bit of this just to give you an idea of what a lot of the kind of the format is. So it starts out on this is one day with Lithops Genesae, variation Genesae, and this is by Mark. I'm not even sure how his last name is pronounced. I'm wanting to say Mugen, but there's something in my brain thinking that I heard it and it didn't sound like that, but I could be wrong. So anyways, and it just starts out. On my first trip to Nambia in May of 2014, guided by Roy Earle, I did not manage to see the known population of Lithops genesae at the top of, and I am not even going to try to pronounce this mountain. We had stopped only part of the way up because in fact we found a new population in an unusual habitat. And then it says, references a photo in this bulletin. In May of 2016, on my second visit to this colorful country, this time accompanied by my wife, I decided to climb right to the top of the mountain. To at least see the population I had heard about, we started paying a short visit to the population at the base of the mountain. There we found only 2 plants, whereas Roy and I had seen more than 20 2 years before. Most of them must have been too well hidden in the grit for our inexperienced eyes. The ones we found were, of course, in bud. Then we started to climb. At the beginning, the slope is gentle, with big rock plates. We looked for lithops where I remembered we had found a new population in 2014. This time we found 2 groups of Lithops geneseae in 2 exposed cracks near the big bulbs of another town or something I'm not going to pronounce. Anyways, that's all I'll go ahead and read, but you can kind of get an idea that it's more in a story format, and then you get all of these little gems about the specific plants kind of woven in through. So you might have hints about where they like to grow, well, more than hints, a lot of details that are really hard to find online about very specific locations where these guys grow. So if you're interested in stuff like this, and you like, sorry, I'm getting the hiccups. Wow. If you like reading stories, etc., these are really awesome. And for the photographs of all of these guys in their natural habitat, this is a great thing to have also, especially if you don't have a lot of books on some of these rare mesembs that have the really nice color photographs. I'm really happy that they include these color pages with the bulletins, because that really, it brings everything to life. And so, but if you are looking for a, I don't know how to word it, kind of an easy resource where it's just clearly laid out for you, and the bulletins are full of, here's a lithop and here's a spot on it, and we're going to tell you what the problem is and what to do about it. That is not what this is geared towards at all. This is very much geared towards collectors and lovers and people that are really interested in these specific species and their genus and all their little I just lost my words. All of their little detailed, yeah, the word just flew out of my head, but all of their little idiosyncrasies, kind of, and habitat and all of that. These are for the slightly more geeky individuals which geeky isn't quite the right word, but you know what I mean, for those that are a bit more invested in very specific species and cultivars, not just general information on lithops or conophytum, etc., which this is exactly what I expected. So I am happy. This is great. But I wanted to show you guys in case someone wasn't sure what to expect and wasn't sure exactly what kind of information would be provided. It's more of a newsletter, and which it's a bulletin, as it says. It's more of what we would call here a newsletter. And you get to follow up with some of the people that you may or may not follow otherwise in the Mesemb world, and get to find some of their, or get to read about some of their journeys. And yeah, the other thing that sorry, you can see my brain is wandering here. When I just say, yeah, that means my thoughts went a totally different direction. One of the other helpful things that I have found is just the reference section. It can bring up some books that I've never heard of, some authors I've never heard of, etc., which so far most of them are very familiar names. But it's for me in particular, it's a good reference on that side, because I love getting more resources and more authors and sources that I trust and that have really good information. So that's kind of what you can expect from the Mesemb Study Group bulletins. I also got this little pamphlet on lithops, and it's just their locality and data. So it's very, as you can see here, I'll just show you a page here. It's all of it looks just like this. Just columns and columns and columns of lithops varieties. And along with it, it has their number. Actually, this is just the number that they're listed. Some of the varieties are actually numbered rather than named sometimes, which most of them have names that go with them. Yeah, I think these are just the number that they're listed in order. Yeah, numerical list. Okay, but anyways, they're just the varieties, specific varieties, and where they're from. See, 15 kilometers northwest of Stridenberg, South Africa. And so if you have this information about your very specific plant, you can often find a lot more about the environment that they're in. Do they have summer rains? Do they have winter rains? Do they have fogs and mists? Because this makes a huge difference. Sometimes people only look at rainfall and say, oh, well, they only have, you know, X number of millimeters a year, therefore I'm not ever going to water them. And but they live in a coastal region or something like that and get lots of moist winds from the sea, which is actually plenty to keep them alive. And in order to mimic those conditions, yes, you don't have to water a lot, but they need to have a little bit of humidity in the air. And depending on where you live, that may not be possible, in which case you would need to actually water more than they would get in their environment because you are in a much less humid place. So having this really specific information, for me, I like it because if I can't find information, any detailed information on a very specific variety, then I like to go and find out as much information as I can about where they're from. And sometimes that is easier said than done to find. And so this is just, I got this little book just to have on hand if I want to look up a specific locale for a specific variety of lithops. So I'm happy with that. I think that's all that I got from them this time. Other than these indexes that they sent. Yeah, so that is all for this video, and that's kind of what you can expect for the Mesemb Study Group bulletins. And I encourage anyone that is interested to become a member. It's very affordable, and they have a lot of seeds. People have been asking me where to get seeds, as I read in that one little clip where they mentioned you can grow seeds and donate them as well. They have a little seed bank, and you can order seeds of lots of different varieties. Way more of a reliable source than eBay or a lot of places like that, where you can end up with lettuce seeds half the time. I have been sent what were they? I completely recognized them. They were pepper seeds or something like that. It was so obvious what they were, and you know, they're labeled as lithops and or you know, another rare Mesemb, which lithops aren't that rare, but you know what I mean, another unusual, that's what I was looking for, unusual Mesemb. And it's very obvious that they are not the right seeds at all, and that's really disappointing. So if you are looking for a place to buy seeds and where you know the specific variety, you're looking for very specific things, I would really encourage you to check out them and their seed bank and order from them. They're reasonably priced, and you get what you're actually wanting. You don't have to worry about it coming as something else, generally speaking. I mean, there can always be a slight mix-up with varieties or cross-pollination that someone didn't know about, but in general, it's a much more reliable place to get seeds from. So I encourage you to check that out if you are interested in seeds. All right. I'm going to close this video before it gets to 20 minutes, which makes it really hard to upload. So I will talk to you guys soon. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and happy growing.